Halloween 4.
Out of all 9 of the Michael Myers slasher films that exist, Halloween 4 is definitely my favorite. Now I realize that 10 Halloween films have been made, but I said 9 just now because let's not forget that Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, had nothing to do with Mikey Myers. But yeah, Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, and return he does, is, in my opinion, the most definitive Halloween entry in the franchise. The pacing is great and the acting is surprisingly terrific, this being the 4th entry in a horror series. Now I might be freaking some of you out by claiming that Halloween 4 is better than Halloween. I'm sorry, that's just my honest opinion. I personally found the first Halloween kinda boring. It's just really slow, you know, plus it doesn't even look like fall in that film. All the leaves were still on the trees and shit. I'm sorry, I just feel that Halloween 4 captured exactly what a Michael Myers movie needs to be. Okay, so Halloween 4 takes place about 10 years after the events of the original film, and Michael once again has escaped from a sanitarium to, this time, hunt down his niece, Jamie, the supposed daughter of Laurie Strode, Michael's sister from the first 2 films. Why he's obsessed with killing his family members? Well, they didn't bother explaining that in the first 2 films, so why bother explaining it now? Moving on, reprising the role of Dr. Loomis is the impeccable Donald Pleasence. This guy must have just loved every minute of working on these films. By the time of the man's death, he had starred in 5 Halloween films, having passed away only a few months before the last Halloween film of his was released. This guy is just a legend. You really can't make these films without his character. Well, yes you can, they're just not as good. I've heard it said before, he's to Michael as Van Helsing was to Dracula. Danielle Harris does such a fantastic job playing young little Jamie Lloyd in this film. She was so innocent, you really cared for her character. You know what? That is what often separated the Halloween films from Jason, Freddy, and all those other wannabes. You cared about the characters. I watch Halloween 4 at least once every year around October. It just never gets old.
Alien.
Ridley Scott's Alien is undeniably more of a horror film than a science fiction film. You've got a deep space commercial towing ship investigating an SOS on a distant planet. What are the odds of them coming across an indestructible creature that bleeds acid and has a skull-puncturing second jaw? If I were asked to come up with 3 adjectives to associate with the movie Alien, those would have to be claustrophobic, wet, and kinky. You heard me correctly, this film is very unique, and I honestly don't think there's been many other films like it. Its 3 sequels even felt like they were unrelated. It wasn't until last summer's Prometheus, the prequel to Alien, that Alien's tone was recaptured, and I think that had a lot to do with Ridley Scott's return to the franchise. He kinda stepped out for a while, allowing other hands to run wild with the material. That's not to say that the sequels were bad. I definitely enjoyed James Cameron's Aliens. It just wasn't the same, you know? Alien is disgusting, it's frightening as hell, and well acted. Sigourney Weaver was terrific as the last woman standing in a seemingly never-ending dash from this freakish, drooling creature. The art designs for this film are just incredible. H.R. Giger, the man who I believe came up with all the designs for the Alien and the Alien Planet, just did a fantastic job. His designs looked so alien, as in you would never be able to come up with the designs yourself because they're just so out there, you know what I mean? Brilliant, brilliant stuff here. When I called this film kinky earlier, I was referring to its erotic undertone. Just what exactly is the monster doing when it attacks Lambert? Have you ever listened to the sound she makes just before she dies? That sounds a bit promiscuous to me. Also, take a good look at some of Giger's designs in the film. Don't tell me that shit don't look like one big wall of sex organs. All in all, Alien is an amazing horror classic that remains to be one of my most favorite movies of all time.
The Fly.
Not the 1950s Vincent Price movie, we're talking 1986's The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum, one of my most favorite male actors. To me, this film is beautiful. I know, Such a strange word to associate with a film that involves a scene of a man peeling his own fingernails off. The film is indeed loaded with numerous gross-out gags, but there's far more to it than just that. Jeff Goldblum and co-star Geena Davis have such good chemistry here, and it's their relationship that really makes this movie for me. So Jeff Goldblum plays Seth Brundle, an eccentric scientist who's on the verge of a breakthrough in his teleportation experiments. Eager to begin teleporting human subjects, Brundle decides to test the experiment on himself. Yeah, we all know how that works out for people. He climbs into one pod and then instantly teleports himself to another pod across the room. Everything seems fine until Brundle starts to go through some serious physical changes, and it's only then that he realizes a fly was present in the pod with him when he teleported himself across the room. These physical changes really start to interfere with his relationship to Geena Davis' character, Veronica. After a series of nauseating scenes expressing in explicit detail the grotesque effects that the experiment is having on our hero, a tragic finale soon follows. The final scene is my most favorite. It kind of makes me want to cry though. The acting at this point is superb, the special effects are delightfully practical, and the music is powerful. It's just beautiful, you know? A beautiful tragedy. See it for yourself and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Thanks for joining me, folks. That'll do for tonight's special on the horror genre. I hope that I've thrown out some pretty good options for you to check out. If you like what you've seen here, well then hit that subscribe button. Oh, and be sure to check out my other reviewing videos if you haven't done so already. Alright, I love you guys. Till next time.
The following video is just a little something for my amazing actors.
How you doing? I'm Andrew Forsleff, and today's video is for my actors. I love you guys, and it's about time I showed my appreciation for you.
You wanna know the difference between you and me?
Get a hold of yourself, you ninja assassin, and go kill them!
Dear actors, thank you for making my movies what they are. I couldn't have done it without you. And remember,
It's not your fault.